Hi, welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, all I'm going to be doing is servicing my nail gun. Now I do this every Christmas period. Obviously she'd been firing a lot of nails this year, but I haven't done the 10,000. I know that because I think when you buy them, I'm sure they're 2,000 nails per pack. I've only used about 3 packs this year, but I'm going to service it anyway. I like to keep my gun in tip-top condition because this is a lovely gun. It's a 16 gauge nailer, and I've had this nailer about 7 years now, and this is the condition it is in. Alright, I've looked after it. A little bit of dirt but there from wood glue from where we've been nailing and everything, but this is in good nick. I've looked after this gun. I do try and look after it. I don't throw it down on the floor or nothing silly like that. So yeah, all we do to service this gun is I use this. Alright, this is a cleaner. All we do is spray this inside the pistons and everything in there, the fires, the nails, and we give it a good old clean, and then this gun is ready to do his year's work. So what I had to do is I get a pair of gloves I had to put on to do this, because this stuff, when you spray this, if this gets on your hands, it seems to dry your skin out. So it's a simple servicing job anyone can do. I don't know if any of you got a nail gun that's watching this, so these are the most easiest nail guns you can service. Don't get me wrong, I do like a battery powered nail gun, but that comes with weight. These gas fired guns, they are very light, they are reliable, but if you don't service them every year, you're going to get problems with misfiring and so on. So I've just been using mine in the house, and I've had a few misfires. I don't know if I need to change the gas on it, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going back to work on Monday, so I just thought I'll give my gun a quick service, and then it's ready for action for the year. So if you're interested in this video, stay tuned. Obviously you're going to see me service it. It's a simple job. It will save you a lot of money, mind, because I do know the services cost about 80 quid for these guns. Excuse me, my nose is itching. So yeah, you can save yourself some money. I picked up 3 of these for 20 quid for servicing my gun, so I can do 3 services with these. So these are nice and cheap, alright? Like I said, you can service your gun, do it yourself, alright? And save yourself a small fortune. Now this gun is, I will just get the information down there. I think it's like the M65 or IM65, something like that. I can check it out. It's a simple gun to service, like I said. I know I'm yapping and just getting my gloves on. Alright. So all we do to service this gun is we just strip it with 4 Allen keys. That's all it is. And then everything else will just disconnect the cables. Be careful not to snag them and damage them. And then we can just clean this gun up, and then it's ready for action for me then. So, all you need to do this gun, alright, is just an Allen key. It's a simple procedure with this. Obviously we need to take out, let me just take this out now. It's a bit cold in here, everything's freezing cold at the moment. I got a little heater running. So take your gas out of your gun. We just press this, and then this comes off here. Everything's a little bit tight and cold. There we go. That's him. So this little filter, when using your nail gun, I don't know if you just bought one and you want to know how to do it. You just clean this filter out with a little bit of cleaner. Make sure she's tip-top. You can keep a bottle of this in the van, so when you're using your gun, you're not sucking a load of dust in, but there. So all you do for the first phase is just clean out that filter, which is nice and easy to do. Just get a bit of this and spray it on there. As you can see, that's nice and clean. I don't know if you can see on there, maybe I'll bring the camera in if someone comments. So yeah, you just clean this part of your filter out, spray it in both directions. This stuff is freezing cold, by the way. Pop that there, leave that on a bit of tissue, and I'd leave that dry then. So, the second part of opening one of these guns up, you just get your Allen key. There's 4 Allen keys on the top by here. So we just go ahead now and undo them. Like I said, this is something I do every year. Saves me a lot of money. This gun's about 6-7 year old. But they can't have problems if they're not serviced regular, see, and you don't want to leave it go past servicing. I think they recommend 10,000 nails. So once you've fired about 5 boxes of nails, if you're a regular firer, you're going to be servicing this gun every couple of months. But if you're like me, and you don't use it all the time, a yearly service is great. But like I said, this is a very easy gun to do. Alright, I used to do my old boss's gun, and that had loads of little, what did I have on it? It had loads of little springs and all sorts of nonsense. You had to be so careful of it, taking it apart. But I used to service that for him because it only fired about 60% of the nails. And when I give it a couple of services for him, we done a few over a couple of months, we used to get about 80% firing out of it, but it was a nightmare of a gun. But that's what you get with a 15-year-old gun, see, and he never serviced that. So yeah, like I said, we'll take the 4 Allen keys out of here now. Alright. Get these out. And this is a simple gun to service, like I said. Ooh. There's always one, isn't it? This one's a bit tight. There we go. So what I'll do, I'll bring it up to the camera then to show you how dirty it is. I'm not imagining this is going to be stinking dirty in here, mind. Because I'm sure I've only fired about 6,000 nails with this year. So I'm just going to get this back in action ready for the year, see? So we've taken them 4 out. Little plastic cap that comes off. That can be cleaned if you wish. There's a couple of plugs to unplug. We've got one by here. Like I said, it's very cold in here, so I'm trying not to break things. That one just pops off there. We move that aside. Don't know what that is. It looks like a little bit of plastic or something's come off it. It might be a bit of dirt that's in there. There's another little white clip we unplug there. And there's another black clip we unplug there. So I just move these wires out of the way now. Move that one out of the way there. And then I just turn it slightly. And then this piece comes out of here. Looking pretty clean. Alright, here's the fan. Alright, so all we do now, I got fed up with battery gas guns. I'm all here now. I don't blame you, Denny, because this is what we do every year, trying to service them and look after them. So, I've got to clean all of this now. Like I said, this gun's a nice easy one to service. It's not rocket science to do this one. So we just make sure that every moving part is still moving. I'll clean all this with a cleaner now, and I'll just wipe it with a bit of blue tissue. I will just show you the chamber. That's what state the chamber's in. She's looking pretty clean, to be honest with you. Obviously this moves up and down. You can press that down there, and you can see in there, it is pretty clean. But we're going to service it anyway. So all we do is get our cleaner then. We pop this gun aside. Like I said, this is a really easy gun to service. I've serviced harder ones, the older ones, much harder ones. I use a bit of blue roll for this because I like to see what sort of mess comes off them. And then we just spray this on here. It's as simple as that. And you'll see all the dirt just fly off these. I'll just show you now. I haven't cleaned it fully yet. That's the dirt that's coming off it in the water. See, it's surprising. It all builds up. So we'll go ahead now and carry on cleaning this. There's no need to get any tough brushes and things like that. All they recommend to clean these guns is just these cleaners, and that is it. Alright, so I've always done that. My hands have gone freezing because of this. I'm trying not to spray my fingers because this stuff is ice cold. I probably should be wearing goggles as well, mind, just in case I spray in my eyes, but I'm trying to fire away from myself. So you're just looking for any bits that you've missed. Give them a good clean, and I like to try and do the back of the blades as well. Nice and easy. Like I said, you can save yourself a fortune by doing this. I've never paid for servicing. I've always done it. You just got to be brave, that's all. Right, so there's that. I will show you this. Now my hand has gone freezing cold. I think I'll just spray around there as well on the top. Just to clean it up a little bit more. So that is that. This stuff evaporates quickly anyway. So there's the fan. Now you can see her shining in the light. She spins freely, which I'm happy about. Yeah, that's what I use, Denny. I only use the pass load make. I don't use anything else. I've always been like that. So that bit's nice and clean, as you can see. If I see any dirt in a minute, I'll go back and I'll obviously zap that off. But that's nice and clean, so I think that's good to go. So I'll just pop that aside there now. And all we got to do is clean out the cylinder, or the piston, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the correct name for that. The gas chamber, that's what it is, isn't it? So all I had to do is I just spray into the chamber now with this. I probably used a little bit too much from what I thought. I've used half a can already, but I'm not bothered. I got another 2 cans over there. Like I said, these are 3 for 20 quid. So if you use 2 of these, job done. Saves yourself paying £80 for a service. So we just spray in here now and clean all the muck out. And to tip it upside down, try not to get it on your cables. A bit did go on there then. Maybe I can move them out of the way, but there. Spray a little bit more in here. And then move this piston down to try and clean it. I'd use the Allen key as well to push it down all the way to the bottom. Try not to scratch the sides, obviously. I can see all of this evaporating already. And that's all dropping out. So I'll just show you the inside of this now. There's the inside. She's looking nice and clean. I can see a tiny bit of dirt right down the bottom there. Alright, so we'll get that cleaned out now. I am going to use a little bit of blue roll. Alright. I do use this stuff from Screwfix in the UK. It doesn't seem to leave bits and debris behind. So I'll go ahead and take a bit of this now. And I'll just send this down the chamber. Give them a little twist. Just to see if I can clean out any of the debris that's in there. So let me just twist him up slightly, only a little bit. And I'll just pop that down into the chamber. I'll twist as I go down. Right, it's just to clean out any of that debris that's left in there, hasn't fallen out. And I'll just show you this. As clean as it's looking, see we got some muck still left in there. Not bad, thank you, Daniel. Not bad. See, we got a bit of muck on there. So that's all we're putting the blue roll down the chamber for, just to clean a bit of that out. So I'll go ahead and do that again now. And then what I like to do then, I like to do a second spray. Just to make sure there's no muck left down there. But like I said, this stuff is great. It all evaporates quick. It's the only stuff I do use. It's the same make as the gun. Pop this down the chamber. Twisting as I go along. There we go, that's looking nice and clean now. So I think I'll do a little bit more spraying in there just to clean the sides. But like I said, this is a 6-7-year-old gun. It's looking in good nick. Do you check for squared out seals? I don't, Danny, I'm not going to lie. Everything's looking pristine in your mind, Danny. She is looking in good nick. See? So, this video is just a clean. We're just giving him a clean. So let's just have a look down there now. So I'm going to give him another spray. Got to be extra careful because I just shot up into my face then. Pop a bit of this cleaner on here and we'll drop that back in there. I should have been wearing goggles, so you've got to be so careful. Right, so we'll pop that aside. I'm just having a look at this now. As this is dried, look, you can see a bit of debris that's left on here as this is dried. We've got some crud and whatnot, but there. Yeah, she is clean for sure. I don't mind using one can doing this. So I'll just go back over this now, give them another little clean. Not a lot. Try not to fire this in my face. It's done it about 3 times. Right, I'm going to get a bit of this because this has got some of this spray on there. And I'm just going to wipe the fan blades now. Make sure there's no debris left on them. That is looking beautiful. Just try and get the underside done. There's a little bit of crud on the side of this one. I've just cleaned it off. It's all black there. Getting the underside of this fan done. And then when I've done this then I'll just give it one more spray. That's that. What I've seen is all black on, there's all black on the sides of the fan. So I'm just going to clean these off now, all these sides. We don't want any build-up occurring now. That's looking pretty good. Right, one more spray on there, just to clean away any of that nonsense. You'd be surprised where all this dirt comes from, mind. You'll clean it, you leave it, and then there's more dirt. There we go. I've just sprayed all of that. I'll leave all that evaporate now, and then she'll be good for refit. So, like I said, we've cleaned the chamber out. Alright, chamber's nice and clean. Do we use pass load or gas battery guns? Well, I do use pass load, Daniel. I've got a pass load here. I've got a, I just knocked that over. I've got a Milwaukee nailer, but they're a big one. She's a bit of a beast. She's heavy, mind. I do like the pass load, to be honest with you. I think it's great. This is my second fixed nailer, mind. This is my second fixed nailer. It's a 16 gauge gun. It's got a nice bit of power. It does the job. That's what I like about it. But what you find with the gas powered guns, obviously, they're a lot lighter than the battery versions. So because you've got a light gun, obviously it's easier when you're working overhead and doing whatever you're doing up there. The battery guns then obviously become heavy. And that's what I found with the batteries. Don't get me wrong, the batteries can be reliable, but these guns are reliable if you service them regular. So I don't have an issue with this gun. I get the odd misfire here and there, but that's about it. As long as it's serviced regular, they will last you. But like I said, I've had this 6-7 years now. I'll have to double check when I actually bought it, mind, and have a look. So we're just going to put this back together now. Going to make sure there's nothing fouling. Just have a little look if there's nothing jammed up in there. Make sure this still goes back up. There we go, she moves freely. Because you have got an O-ring inside here as well. There we go, now I've moved that, I can see there's a bit of crud, look. See there's a bit of muck on the sides, can you see that? Because I moved it up and down. So I'll just move it up and down now, clear out some of this other debris that I found. I thought that was an 18 gauge. No, this is a 16 gauge, this gun. Where does it say? By here on the box, look. Can you see that? It's all obviously backwards on the video. 16 gauge. Alright? So this is a 16 gauge. It's obviously an old school gun. It's not brand new in any way. I'm just going to fire a bit more of this cleaner in here because I've seen a bit of mess in there now. Now I moved this up and down. Have I moved that all the way up? No. So let me just pop this pin all the way up now because I can see the crud. She's back up there. Moving back down a bit now. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. There is some dirt in there. That's looking nice and clean to me. Right, so I'll just put it back together now. Simple procedure as we know. We'll just pop this in here. Just got to remember which way I done it now. I think it was like that. And then that just turns like so. That's him there. I'll leave the cables out a sec now. I'll just screw these back in. What am I doing? That goes back on first. What did I do? Right. Let's do it in the right order, yeah. Cables back in. One there. Then we got this one to go on here. Never goes to plan when you're on camera, does it? That one goes into there. Just make sure you put them back in the right order and make sure you don't snag anything. That cable goes in there, and then this one just pushed into there. Oop. That's nice and snug. Then we can put the case back on. Pop him in there. Make sure she's tidy, and then we can screw him down. Is that seated nice on there? So look, where does that red cable go? Does that come over there? Yes, that goes into there as well. So I'll just show you, there's a little orange groove on the gun. Alright, there's a little orange groove by here. So make sure you got your two cables in those grooves, otherwise you're going to snag it when you tighten down and then the gun is ruined. So I've just popped them back in there. Make sure everything's in its right place. That black cable goes down in there. So I'm just making sure it's sitting in the correct position. So I don't want to damage anything. That's looking correct to me. I'm happy with that. That's all clipped in there. That's clipped in there. So now I will screw this down. I just realised when I put that black piece on there and it wasn't seated right. So obviously don't force nothing. If it's not seating correctly, obviously take it back off and have a look is the best way to do it. But like I said, this is the most easiest gun. Anyone can service this gun. There's nothing complicated about it. Well, she doesn't want to go in there. Let's have a look. Are we lined up? That looks like it's lined. And you go. There's one. You watch now, I'll pull this back together and it won't fire. No, of course it will. It's going to fire. There's this one. Like I said, this is an half-hour job, alright? We've got a nail gun. Takes you half hour. 20 quid for 3 cans of this. Job done. It's serviced yourself. Instead of sending it off to someone, and they don't always look after them, and you don't know if they're stealing parts out of there, you haven't got a clue. At least you know that you've opened this up, you've serviced it, and you've done it right. Like I said, this gun is firing fine. It doesn't need any new O-rings or nothing like that, but I'd assume they're easy enough to change on here. But if I was to do something like that, I'd obviously film the whole thing by myself just in case when you go back to putting it back together, you don't realise where something's got to go, or you forgot them, and then you can just look back on your video and make sure you obviously put it all back together in the correct way then. So that's them four. We shall pop the gas in there. Got some gas left, so I'm hoping that's fine. Pop that in there, and then I will put the filter back on then. That's in there now, the gas. The final piece to this is the filter. She's looking nice and clean, so I'll pop that back in here. There's that. And then we will pop this back on here. That just clips in there. That's that. Pop this back on here. I'll pop some nails in now and we'll just do a test fire on her. I think we're good. There's that. Pop a battery in here. Now this is the old gun, it's not a lithium powered one. It uses the old batteries. Sounds good. Pop a bit of timber by here. Pop a ear plug in my ear, and then we can just test then to see how the gun fires. Let's have a look. What's that comment say? I do love battery gas guns. Just did use them as much. I was buying new battery for them. Plus, like you said, maintenance is key. Yeah, it is, then. You've got to maintain them. It's the best thing to do. It's the best way to look after them. 75 to 100 bucks to have my framing pass load service in the US. There we are, see, Denny. Now, if you just obviously type in the make of your pass load, you might find the correct video to service that. But I've always serviced mine. And I'll tell you the reason why I've always serviced it. When I bought it, this is the instructions that comes with it, see? So in these instructions, it actually shows you all the problems the gun has if it misfires. And when you get to the back pages, it actually shows you how to service it. So you've got step-by-step instructions, look, of taking this gun apart. It shows you how to take it all apart and how to service it yourself. So I think when people buy these, maybe they don't have the instructions, or maybe you've bought it second-hand. It shows using a microfiber cloth to clean inside there, which I didn't do. But you know what I just missed out? I've just seen on here, I needed to lubricate and oil all of these components. So I'm going to grab my oil now, take this apart before I fire it, and lubricate all of the gun. So that's something I forgot to do. So I will grab that now, because it should be... Where is it? Well, there you go. I'll just put it back together without oiling it up. The oil should be up here, so I'm just grabbing my oil. You know what? You can't find something when you need it. Here it is. I've got it. So yes, I forgot an important stage, so don't go taking yours apart until you put the oil in there. Obviously, I'm yapping on video and I forgot to do it. So pop that in there. Take the gas out now. So we just got to do everything in reverse. Take it all apart. And then we can lubricate each stage and put it all back together. I can't believe I forgot that. And that's why it's always wise to have your instructions out. It's easy to forget something. Obviously, watching a video helps. So I'll take all this apart now, lubricate the gun up, and then she's ready to do a fire. It's a simple mistake to do. You're in such a rush sometimes. I don't know why I do rush, but you do. We'll just take all this apart. I'm going to leave the filter in place on the top. There's no need to dismantle that because we've already cleaned that stage. Take this apart. As you can see, there's quite a lot of dirt on these gloves that come off this gun. There she goes. Take that out of there. pop that for there. Take these cables out of here. Take that out of there. Just move these aside. Pop this one out of here. Doesn't want to come out now. There we go. And then we just turn this to the side. Oop, drop that. Lift him up slightly and turn him. So now he doesn't want to come out for some reason. Why is that? There we go. Right. So now I've got to lubricate each section up. I'll just go back to my sheet of paper and just see. But if I remember right, I don't need to look at that. I know what I'm lubing up. That's if I can get this open by here. Well, that's crazy. What do I need? A flathead screwdriver maybe? There we go. Right, so we lubricate the chamber, which I forgot to do. I'll just see if there's anything coming out of here now and if it's in good nick. Yes. So I'm just popping a drop of that in there. Rubbing my finger all the way around. I'll pop some more in here. Just rubbing my finger all around there. Then I like to move this up and down. Right, to make sure it's going everywhere. Pop that back up. Put a little bit of lube on there as well. Oil all the top of that. Push him down. And then push him back up. Lovely. And then it says put some on the fan. Just put a little drop of this on here. I'm going to place some around here as well. Obviously put a layer of oil on there, protects it. Put another little drop around there. And one of these will last you forever. I've had that bottle for years now and it just doesn't seem to go because you only want a couple of drops of this. You can always open your gun up every couple of months and re-oil depending on how many nails you fire in. So there's that stage done. Now that's all oiled up. Basically we've got to put it all back together again now. So I'll go ahead and reassemble the gun. This is the way I like to do it. So I'll get this piece. Orange bit faces the right. Move that cable out of the way. That is supposed to just drop in there and twist. Twist. Come on. Nope, I can see him. That's got to drop in there. 2 secs. That goes down into that hole there. I can see it. There's a little tiny groove that it slots into. But it doesn't want to drop in there for some reason. What are you doing? That's strange. What is it playing? What is it doing? Move these down out of the way because they get on my nerves. Put them there. Right. In you go. There we go. Didn't want to drop in there. There's this tiny little lug there. There's a little line. I'm trying to show you where it goes. See this by here? This just drops into that little gap. Can you see that? And that's when it sits in there. So that's what was doing my head in. So now it's all back in line. I don't know why. Whoop, I just kicked that over. I don't know why it weren't in line then, but it just wouldn't go. So I'll just clip all the cables back in now. Move these around here. plug that back in there. I don't know why things happen like this on a live. I just kick the timber over there and it's insane, and then there's always something. Move that there and plug that in there. Make sure this is seated back in that orange little groove. Keep all those cables in line. That's clipped in there nice. That's all lovely. Put the cap back on. Make sure she sits nice, which she does. Pop the screws back in. Make sure that they're in line. That's looking good to me. Already done it once in the last half hour, so I know what I'm doing, don't I? Right, so just tighten these up now. Now that we've lubricated everything correctly, obviously I forgot to do that, and it was so lucky I looked at the instructions. But if I was doing it by myself and I weren't doing it on a live, obviously I would have had the instructions out beside me but there just to make sure that I've done everything, and I would have lubed it up. But I put the instructions aside because obviously I didn't want to be reading them while we're on here. But anyway, as long as the gun is good, we are happy. Just screw these 4 in now and we should be able to fire her then. So I'm hoping she's going to work. Before the service it did work, so I can't see why it won't. Alright. I'll just tighten all these up. I'm not going loony tight. Just nipping them up. I don't want to snap a screw and then have a nightmare on my hands. So we'll just tighten them up. Obviously there's no vibration with these guns, so these ain't going to loosen off. If you wish, you can use a little bit of thread lock on there. Tighten that there. Drop this one in here. And as you can see, like Denny said on the comments, but there he pays 75 to 100 bucks to get his pass load serviced. Like I said, which I've obviously just knocked off the table. No, here it is. 3 of them for 20 quid. So I don't know what that is in American dollars. I'd say 3 of these are for $30. And I'm not going to lie, it's about down there. Now there were some comments saying I'm using quite a lot of this stuff, but I don't mind using one of these cans just to clean this. I think that's about right. You know what I mean? So I can do 3 services for 20 quid, about 30 quid US dollars. And that saves me a fortune. And you only have to buy yourself one of these and that'll last you about 20 years, I'd imagine. Because I don't use a lot of that oil. And I've never had an issue with my gun. So, we've tightened the 4 of them. We will pop the gas back in here. Pop this back in here and push him down. This thing's always a nightmare to do, isn't it? In you go. Is she in there? Yeah, she's in there. That's it. Right. Pop this back in here now. Get my nails out for starters. Push this all the way back up here. Because what you find with these guns, if you haven't pushed this pin all the way back up, she doesn't want to fire when you first set her up. What's going on there now? Something's not quite right. Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? On a live and something's not quite right. Doesn't look like our pin is in the right position to me. What's going on there? Right, so something's not quite right there. I've always pushed this pin up and never had a problem. There we go. For some reason, she just went slightly out of line then, the pin. But it is in line now, it's bang on the centre, but there. I'll tell you what happened with this gun. When the very first nail I fired out of this gun, right? I'm looking at the camera when I'm walking and I'm tripping into stuff. The very first nail... How are you, Troy boy? You have the... What's that one, buddy? Let's have a look. You have the IM65A finishing nailer. Bought it last year. Let's have a look what one mine is. I think I am the... I'm the IM65, I think. The much older version. Well, I thought we had a bit of a nightmare then. The pin was at a slight angle in the gun. I don't know why. I've never seen that before, but it is fine now. Finished a nail I bought last year, not used it yet, and the DeWalt framing nailer, which has been good for me, but it does jam up sometimes. Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, Troy, when they're jamming up, innit? Good afternoon from Scotland. Afternoon from Yorkshire as well, Troy. I feel I should go and do tool maintenance. I know it's got to be done. We all should be doing it. A good day from Pennsylvania, USA. Bloody hell, Danny, you're from USA as well, you bud. Right. So, what I was just saying, right, the very first nail I fired out of this gun, I couldn't believe it. Don't know if you can see it on camera. See that hole there? It fired straight through the chamber, the holes, the nails. I couldn't believe it. So I had to get red grips. I had to pull it out. I had to file all this flat. And then it's never done it ever since. I don't know why it done it. But it's the first nail this gun ever fired in my hands. I couldn't believe it. So, I'm about to put the nails in the gun now. Alright, I'll just move this out of the way as well. Because I'm tripping over things. Because I'm looking at the camera when I'm walking towards you. When I'm walking into stuff. So I'll just pop the battery in the gun. We'll just load the nails up now. Alright. Looks like we got battery. I'll just pop some ear defenders in because this thing does blow your eardrums out. Put my Allen cable there. I'll just show you the timber by here with a knot. We're going to do a few nails firing into there, so I hope it works. I'm just going to change the gas because this is an older gas that's in the gun. I do know this. So I'll just put a new gas in, yeah. Because that gas has been in there a while and I know it was playing up the other day. So we pop the new gas in and then I can fire and test the gun then. There she blows. That sounds a lot better already. So I'll just test this now and fire. There we go. I knew she needed new gas in there. So that's working like a treat now. As you can see, we fired a load of nails in there. We've blown all the timber out on the other end. I knew I needed to change the gas. But she's firing nice. So I'm happy. So this gun's good for another year now. So she should be good until next Christmas for the next service. But like I said, 3 of them for £20. That's 3 services. And this oil will last you about 20 years. So it don't take long to do. How long we've been on here? 43 minutes. And I think I've dismantled the gun about 4 times, haven't I? But there we are. Thank you, Denny. No worries, Mark. We all fire the first shot too early. Yes, correctly, we do, Troy. We all do, don't we? But yeah, thank you for watching again. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video, which will be about half hour, I think. Ta-ra all.